Well, happy Tuesday, February 28th, 2023. I missed it. Yesterday I made a video and I pressed the button, did all this. I talked to myself, obviously, and didn't record. I even remember pushing the button to stop it. It was probably, I don't know, less than 20 minutes. So I'm talking and it's not going anywhere. So if a Westwood makes a noise and the camera's not on, does it really make a noise or make a sound? I don't know. Hard to say. So, yeah, that was probably a pretty good video. I was talking about Litecoin, talking about, you know, the price projections and where it's going to go here in the next few months. And tomorrow's March 1st, new monthly candle opens up. And I don't know, a lot of good wisdom gone. Who knows? Probably for my own good. The universe tends to work in mysterious ways with me. Patience. You know, when you think that things need to go a certain way, then they don't go a certain way, and it looks bad because they didn't go that certain way you thought it was going to go. Usually it's for the best, but I'll tell you what, at the time it's really hard to accept it. I'm going through one of those periods right now. Not happy with how things have gone and dealing with it. And I'll look back and I'll say, okay, well, that's probably why that happened. It was for a reason. And, you know, in the moment, it's hard. It's very difficult to say it's happening for a reason. But you got to know that it is. Even though everything in your being fights it and says, nope, I want it to be this way. Sometimes it's just not that way. It's better off that it's not that way. Anyway, speaking of what's the reason? We've got Janet Yellen making a surprise visit to Kiev now. It used to be Kiev, you know, like Kiev chicken Kiev. Now it's Kiev, visiting Kiev, and we need more weapons because we need to fight for freedom, and it is for the sake of the world. We must unite together. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of the theater. Go back and look at Zelensky's old stuff. I mean, there's some stuff coming out on Twitter now. Re-showing what he used to be, you know, the actor, the comedic actor on like a, I don't know, variety show or something. Oh my, shirts off, dancing around. I mean, it's all comedy. And now he's all serious. Oh, it's very serious. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe the whole thing's still staged. Maybe the whole thing's still acting. I don't know. They got the perfect guy in charge to act. Why is Yellen our Treasury Secretary in Kiev, capital of Ukraine, which is supposedly under massive attack all the time? You know, Kiev, Ukraine, getting destroyed. Oh, everything's terrible. And yet they're walking around. Biden's there with his aviators on. Little Janet Yellen's there. I don't know which one's shorter, Yellen or Zelensky. It's kind of funny. But they're there sitting across the big table. It's almost like you need to put a bib on, you know, one of the little bibs and the bonnet on the head, because they're sitting at this big table, these little people. It's a pretty funny scene. And notice how Zelensky's always surrounded by that look like something guards out of the movie Hostel. I mean, these big thugs, these dudes that look pretty sketchy, look dangerous. Look like they're one standing at the door, you know, when the walls are dark and drippy, and you come into this, enter the chamber, and, you know, it's one of these guys opens the door. The whole thing looks like a movie set to me. It really does. And you've got billions of dollars rolling through there. Why? What is happening? What is really going on over there? Then I see all the staged things, you know, behind the scenes, where they're faking battles and blow up tanks and people dressed in costumes like they're, you know, emigrating. I don't know, man. The whole thing. I'm not saying there's not something going on there, but I think it's a wag the dog scenario. Go watch that movie. A lot of money flowing through there. And you've got Russia, you've got China calling for investigations on what's really going on in Ukraine. You've got China and Russia saying, hey, let's have an investigation into where the whole COVID thing started. Because now, what, the Department of Energy, I think it is, one of the departments of the United States, who knows, there's so many of them. What difference at this point does it make? Hillary Clinton. referring to Benghazi situation. Yeah, I'll stop and get my mail before I go to work. So you've got this whole thing going on. The Secretary or the Department of Energy, I think it was, coming out saying that COVID looks like it started in a lab in Wuhan, when early on that was kind of what it was, and it's like, oh no, it couldn't have been, deny that. So they want an investigation. U.S. says, nah, no investigation needed here. 9. Oh, it's all muddy. I'm gonna get muddy. Oh yes, Ace Hardware, sign up for rewards. Looks like somebody might have signed up, I didn't know. Squeaky window. Making all kinds of noise today. It's a Westwood window, it's gotta make noise. So anyway, the U.S. doesn't want to investigate, the real origins of it. We shut down an entire economy. No big deal. Print up trillions of dollars to funnel to whomever. Shut down all the businesses. Lock everybody down. And we don't really want to know where it came from for real. It doesn't matter. What difference at this point does it make? It's already out there. Well, it does make a difference. Because if it happened in Wuhan, China, what happened there? Why was it there? Why did it get released? I mean, is it game of function? Game of function, this is what's going on. Game of function. That's basically what it is. Game of function. Game of Thrones. That's kind of what this whole thing is, Game of Thrones. What we're seeing wash out right now. So you've got possibly starting in a lab in China. The Chinese say, no, it didn't. I want to kind of know now, because there's this theory that Russia's in Ukraine because they're destroying biolabs, and a lot of the biological weapons of war were being developed in Ukraine. A lot of pharmaceutical companies over there, and one theory is that the Russians are trying to take all that out and fighting the Western dark establishment, deep state establishment in Ukraine, trying to take them out. Now, what if, and this is another theory that's going around, what if the whole thing was developed in Ukraine and then maybe exported, imported, whatever you want to call it, like Art Vandelay, importer, exporter, Seinfeld reference. What if it was then ported over to the Wuhan lab and then released and made it look like it was China releasing it, when in actuality it was some Western deep state forces or globalist vampire interests? Just a thought. Maybe that's what happened, and maybe that's why we really don't want to investigate that. We don't want to go down that rabbit hole, because it leads to all kinds of tunnels that we don't want to expose to the light of truth. Hey, anything's possible when you have unlimited money. When you can print the money, and see, this is the thing. You've got billions going into Ukraine. Why? Over 100 billion. 110, 20, 30, 40 billion. It doesn't even matter. At this point, no. What difference at this point does it make? Should be the title of the video. It does make a difference, though, because what we're seeing is the perpetuation of the same old thing. We're seeing the money getting created out of nothing, and it's getting spent by people who, are they really elected? And the Treasury Secretary's not elected. And where'd she get the authorization? Oh, from the president. Okay. Well, he was elected, so he's got the authority of the people. So they're spending all this money that they create out of nothing and handing it out to all these interests. And what's the real interest that they have in the country? Is it to develop weapons of war? Is it to, fight Russia? Is it to, traffic arms, drugs, humans? I don't know. I know that all those things do happen. And so you got to ask yourself, why is it happening? We have a lot of issues here that aren't being resolved. Why not print the money up and fix it here? Oh, because we are the ones that are the problem, because, way back a few hundred years ago, we had this revolution where we said enough is enough. We're not going to allow tyrants to rule over us anymore. We're going to govern ourselves. And somewhere along the line, we've continually given up that self-governance, that sovereignty, that empowerment that we did have, that we enunciated in the Constitution. We continually handed it over to people who don't deserve it. We continually gave it back to the vampires that we once walked away from. So here we are again. And this time we're fighting in Ukraine. I just find it odd that the people calling for the investigation are the ones that are being accused of causing the problem. So why would you want an honest and open investigation if it's going to lead back to you? And why wouldn't you want an open investigation, you know, if you don't have a hand in it? Why are you saying, no, you people are bad, bad man, bad China man, bad Russian? I mean, it's always, you know, all countries are bad. It's just, you got to look at what you're talking about when you're referring to bad. I mean, if you're creating bioweapons and releasing them on the public, whoever's doing that, those are the people that need to be outed. Those vampires need to be brought to light. So let's find out who they are. That's all I'm asking. Get back to my crypto thing. Where's John Fetterman? What is happening with John Fetterman? The senator that was elected by the good people of Pennsylvania. John Fetterman. Now, granted, I mean, you know, Dr. Oz was a weak Republican candidate. I mean, he was not a true conservative, so he's not going to garner the conservative vote. I mean, the guy was a wiffle waffle. You know, you didn't know where he stood, and you know, so he really wasn't the best guy to run on the other side. But John Fetterman, you knew he had problems when you elected him. Pretty obvious. Really obvious. And now he can't fulfill his duties. Where is he? Is he showing up to work? I mean, if I hired an employee like that and he showed up as much as John Fetterman, that guy'd be gone. Because he can't do his job. I mean, put him on disability and find somebody else. It's just not a useful person. He doesn't have the energy. He doesn't have the ability at this point. It might have at one point in the past, but right now he doesn't. So he can't serve the people of his state at this point. Where is he? That's all I ask. Is he okay? I'm just concerned. You just never know. Guy might have something really wrong with him. He's got clinical depression, we hear. So, I mean, you know, are you going to make the best decisions when you're clinically depressed? Even if you do come back? Probably not. But these are the best and brightest, baby. The best we have to offer. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Sleepy Joe and Sloppy Ho. That's your ticket. Your ticket to paradise. The American dream, baby. And John Fetterman in Pennsylvania. Wherever he's at. Don't know. Chucky Schumer. Mitch McConnell. Santos out of New York. Wow. Got some real winners in D.C. These are the people who are running things. Janet Yellen, Treasury Secretary. Pete Buttigieg, Transportation Secretary. Pothole Pete. I love that. Somebody said that. Pothole Pete. It's awesome. I think it's Peter Buttigieg. I like that one too. These people are a joke. People are just, it's theater. That's what I mean. It's like a big movie. It's this big clown show, this big circus, and what performer's coming out next? Oh, here's the clown. There's a trapeze guy with no net, and he falls all the time. Watch out. Same old thing. It's just a big district of circus, DC. The donkey circus. Maybe at the donkey circus. All donkeys over there. Get to crypto. That's the only thing I see one of the few things I see that we can, get out of this whole thing with. You've got Gary Gensler, and see, he's so SEC chairman. He's so vague on what he says and how it's reported. Well, Bitcoin is the only thing that's not a security. That's what's making the news right now. And give me a break. Who cares? At this point, who cares? What difference at this point does it make? Pandora's box has been opened. Money is out there. Sound money for the digital age is out there. You can't deny it. You got Bitcoin, you got Litecoin, you got DigiByte for the future. You got all these coins that run on their own network that are just free speech code. It's just code. That's all it is. And what's code? Words. Words on paper. So you put the code on paper, type it in, it executes commands on a computer. It's just language. It's free speech. Free speech is protected. So how are you going to, regulate free speech? How are you going to come in and do that? See, that's what we've got to understand. It's something we choose to give power to, energy to. If we choose to give energy to Bitcoin, it grows in price because more energy comes into it. And what's the form of energy in the United States? The Federal Reserve note or your time. But usually your time is, in exchange for the Federal Reserve note. You can give your time, just like a lot of these, like the foundation, Litecoin Foundation, for instance, they give their time for nothing. I mean, they get nothing in return. And a lot of the foundations that might be founded for different coins, DigiByte has one, they give their time, and effort and energy to make the project better, to make the project better. That's really what it is. Or you can put money into it, to pay somebody to give their energy to make the project better. But ultimately, it's the people who support it, they believe in it. They say, I'm going to give something to make this continue. That's all it is. And the more energy that goes into it, the more energy that it absorbs, the more value that it has to people. Proof of work, baby. And so you've got a form of money now that you can hold in your own possession, that you can be sovereign with. And what's that mean? Sovereign. What's that mean? It means you can leave your country if you want to and go to another country. You are your own country. You have your own money. It's like you're minting your own money because you're participating in this network that is, hey, let's mint money for everybody. What is it? It's just energy markers on a blockchain. It's like, I want to transfer that energy marker to this and this and this. I've been watching Altered Carbon on Netflix. And it's like any of these sci-fi shows, to where when you pay for things, it's just like, you've got an account out there. They never have a wallet. They never have cash. They never have anything. They're, putting their thumbprint down or something. It's like, boom. It takes so many credits to buy something. And where is that? Where does that exist? Is that through the state? Is that through blockchain? But if you think about it, it could be through a blockchain running independently out there. And all you're doing is giving that's all you're doing. You think you own the coins. Yeah, you don't own the coins. They reside on the blockchain. Nobody really owns them. It's just who has access to them. How do you get access to them? Well, you need a private key. Okay, what's a private key? Well, you can get a private key, a long string, or you can write down when you open a wallet in a nice usable way, BIP39, protocol, proposal, to where you can write down words because it's more intelligible to a human being. It's like, do we memorize IP addresses? No. We memorize domain names that are tied to IP addresses through DNS. So it's like, okay, what's the IP address of google.com? Which that gets into a whole nother thing because it's multiples. But you can't, do you remember that? Like a phone number? No, because human beings were more language associated. The numbers, it's like, I can't remember all these numbers. I need something to fix it. So it's like google.com. All right, cool. Boom. Put it in there. It resolves to the IP address, which is like the phone number for that computer, that server, or that bank of servers. All right, we can't remember all that stuff. So it's like a private key. It's like, we can't remember this whole thing. We can remember the words, though. Or and that's your private key. That allows you to access what coins are associated with it on the blockchain. And it says, hey, blockchain, authentication, security, yes, this is the proper person to access these 10 Litecoin. All right, cool. I want to move one Litecoin over here. All right, done. Next time you go back, you got 9 Litecoin on your balance. That private key. Now, in the future, it may be, your thumbprint does it, or a DigiID does it, or your retinal scan does it, or a password does it, whatever. There's multiple ways to identify yourself and authenticate yourself and tie it to an address. So in the future, that's what's happening. It's like, oh, okay, it's going to cost you this many credits for that wonton on the street. Okay, done. It's done. It's all done out in the cyberspace. You don't have to wait for it, so it's got to be some trusted form of system that works. And so it's an interesting show. Altered Carbon gets into a lot of philosophical, life after death, spirit goes on. And they're putting like your little wafer digital identity into a new skin or a new sleeve, they call it, a new body. So it's like, hey, you got enough money, you can get this new sleeve, it's really hot, and then just got all these built-in, muscle memory so you can fight and do all this stuff. So more money you have, more credits you have in the future, the longer you can live, and you can almost become immortal if you got enough. If somebody can kill you, it's like, put it in the new body, I'm back, baby. I'll be back. Something to think about. And so how's that? What kind of money are you going to have in the future that's going to work? Hey, this cash over here, that'll work. No, it won't. It's all digital. People are like all these cars flying around, moving here and there, and everything's got to be digital. We're there already. It's going to get much, much more. So if we're going to be in the digital age, you need sound money for the digital age. Front run the whole system. Look into Litecoin. Look into DigiByte for a penny, because that's going to continue to work. Look at the blockchains that have been running for a long time. Litecoin's been running over 11 years nonstop. Now they can stop it. DigiByte, over 9 years nonstop. Look at those blockchains. Solana, a few hours nonstop. Heard Polygon went down last week. I don't know. I have no faith in those. Until they prove themselves to be running consistently and effectively and not needing tweaked for a few years, I don't want anything to do with them because I have no faith in it. Oh man, price go up though, because a lot of, fake money, Federal Reserve notes come into it, and that's what everybody's talking about and pumping it up. It's like, yeah, but is it solid? Is it reliable? Is it going to be around? When I get my new sleeve in 100 years and, I need that money. Guess what? If you saved cash, it's not going to be worth crap. It'll probably be gone. There'll be a new form of money. But let's say you save something like Litecoin and you come back 100 years later and you're like, hey, I got these 10 Litecoins here. What? You got 10 Litecoin? Yep. Because the value at that point, since everything's completely digital and everybody needs some sound digital money, how much is it going to be worth? I do the math all the time. If there's 8 billion people in the world, there's only 84 million Litecoin. It's only 1/100th of a Litecoin per person. So if you come back in the future, it's like, holy cow, you got 10 Litecoin? That's like 1,000 times ahead. 1,000 times ahead of the next person. So anyway, I know, extreme, in my thinking, but put yourself in a position is all I'm saying, that for the future. Not saying you're going to get a sleeve or a new body and move on. But if you're here for another 20, 30 years, you might want to look into some sound money for the digital age, something you can hold in your own possession, something you can, I shouldn't say hold in your own possession. I just told you don't hold it in your own possession. Get the private key, do something, some coins that the blockchain protects and is always going to be there so that you can use it at a later date. Think about the future. As the Joker said in Batman, you need to think about the future. Need to think about the future. Litecoin is the future. Cryptocurrency is the future. It's sound digital money. Something's going to be around for a long time. Don't know how long, but given the circumstances of what's out there right now, I think I'd rather put my energy into something that's been running for a while. Bitcoin's been running since, January 3rd, 2009. Litecoin, October 13th or 31st. Never can remember. Of 2011. So you've been running for a long time. Uninterrupted. Litecoin anyway. Bitcoin had a little glitch early on. Litecoin uninterrupted. 100% uptime. Whole blockchain's life. I like that. I like something that works. All right. Sorry I missed the video yesterday. It's out there somewhere in cyberspace. It just disappeared. It wasn't on my phone. Didn't record. I have no idea. Another glitch in the matrix. I've been having a lot of those lately. Need to be careful. Watch out for yourselves. Maybe it's one of those times. I don't know what's in retrograde right now. Who knows? Planets moving. Maybe somebody knows why things feel a little weird right now. And defunct. All right, love you all. Hope you have a wonderful day. Trust yourselves in all this. Can't trust Zelensky. Can't trust Biden. Can't trust Secretary Yellen. I'm yelling. Can't trust these people. They have their own interests in mind, or interest of some sort of beast that they serve. I don't know what they serve. They don't serve us. They don't serve we the people. Pretty obvious. Trust yourselves. Don't trust them. All right, love you all. Hope you have a wonderful Tuesday. And tomorrow is March. Tomorrow I get a tooth pulled, so that should be fun. I'll have to make a video before that, because afterwards, oh, maybe I should make it afterwards. That would be pretty funny. It really, I'm not good with the whole teeth thing, so probably not a good idea to make it afterwards. All right, love you all. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a wonderful Tuesday.